Hello everyone, my name is The Ultimate Spy, and in today's video, I thought I'd touch on a subject that I've been wanting to talk about for the longest time now. So this is a topic that I've talked about on my podcast, The Madhouse, which unfortunately was cancelled a while ago. And I've only ever done one episode on this subject, and that's because I'm the only person in my friend group who actually watches the shows, unfortunately. And that is the Arrowverse versus the DCEU. Now, since Crisis on Infinite Earths just ended and all the shows are now on one Earth, it means that the Arrowverse is now going to be a lot more interesting moving forward. And I can already see that based off what I've seen online, which is kind of annoying. And I haven't actually gotten the chance to see all the back half seasons of all the shows yet, because currently I'm rewatching Crisis before I dig right into the shows again. Because of that, here's what I think about these two different live-action adaptations of DC Comics characters. Now, comparing the Arrowverse with the DCU, I definitely feel like the Arrowverse does a lot better job. Now, the DCU, okay, I'm going to talk about that real quick because this one, I feel like should get some attention, even though it sucks now, and I've completely stopped watching the movies. Okay, so here's my journey on the DC movies. They were great before, and then they got terrible. You know, in my opinion only. You might have a different opinion, but I think they just, they don't know how to build a good universe like Marvel does, and they just don't do a good job. So, obviously the earlier DC movies were, the Batman movies, the Superman movies, a couple of the TV shows, all those old ones. And then we got Superman Returns, and then the Dark Knight trilogy with Christian Bale, and then the not-so-good Green Lantern movie, although it's not the worst superhero movie of all time, it just isn't great. I remember seeing it wasn't even that bad. I thought it was pretty fun, actually, but obviously people have different opinions about it. After I've seen it enough times and understood what, the production was like, it definitely does not seem like the best version of a Green Lantern movie out there, which is why we're getting a new TV series. But that movie was supposed to launch into a new franchise of DC movies. I think it was also supposed to connect with the Dark Knight trilogy, so I think that was like the Dark Knight and Green Lantern were all supposed to happen, and then also Superman Returns was supposed to make more movies, but then it didn't happen because that movie did not perform well at the box office, unfortunately. So it all led to a reboot, and that was rebooting Superman from the original Christopher Reeve movies, and then also the Superman Returns movie, which never got sequels, unfortunately. And that was saying that we're gonna reboot the movie with a new actor playing Superman, and that was with Man of Steel. Now, Man of Steel was a really good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wasn't a big fan of the idea of the plot and the fact that they treated Superman like an alien, an actual alien. They just kind of, it didn't have the best plot, but it was a really fun movie, honestly. I really enjoyed it. And then a few years later, in 2016, they released the god-awful Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. And it's like Warner Brothers, who owns DC, and their movies. They were like looking at Marvel, they're like, oh, well, Marvel's really successful. They've made a really awesome, interconnected superhero universe with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So let's try that. And unfortunately, it did not go well. Yeah. Batman vs Superman, which basically like, oh, we're not going to do a Batman movie. We're not even going to use the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy with Christian Bale. We're just going to cast a new Batman. We're going to have Ben Affleck, the original actor for Daredevil, which was a terrible movie. We're going to have him, and people started calling him, Batfleck. I don't really think it was necessary. And so basically, that movie was fun, but way too long, and just the story was just was rushed. Like they had, they were trying to build it up to this. It's like yeah, it did not go so well. In order to build up to a big crossover movie like Justice League or the Avengers, you gotta have solo films. They didn't do that. That's how successful Marvel was. They built up their solo movies, have a few solo movies and then have a big crossover. DC's like, we're not gonna do that. We just want to make money, so they just stuffed a bunch of cameos in their movie and then called it good and like, yeah, we're gonna set up the Justice League. It's like we're gonna just go right into it. No planning at all. We're not even gonna plan. We're just gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna do it now. Like no time to waste. Just now. And then that Wonder Woman, they wanted to explain why she was in the movie for some reason. She didn't get a show the movie. It's like, here you go, here's a movie. And that was a really good movie, honestly. Wonder Woman was a phenomenal movie. Probably before I stopped watching DC movies within the DCEU, it was one of my favorite DCEU movies. It was a phenomenal movie. They did a really good job with that. And then before that, Suicide Squad came out. It had an amazing trailer, really fun music. They used Bohemian Rhapsody, which was really cool. I didn't even know the name of the song, actually. While in work, they have iHeart 80s radio station, and that's one of the songs that they frequently repeat. Suicide Squad was a really fun movie, to be honest. I did enjoy it a lot, considering I did a review on it. I thought it was great. I didn't really have anything against it, really. I think I did mention some of the things I didn't like about it, but overall, it was a solid entry in what they were building towards, even if it was not a very good build. And then they're like, okay, Justice League, just do it. Just do it. No time to wait. Just do it. I didn't bother seeing it. Like, the trailers were like, they were so bad. I just could not believe my eyes. Ugh, it was so bad. So, after that, I just gave up. I completely gave up on making more DC movies. Is because there's still an audience for that. People still want to go see them, and they want to still, be immersed in a world, even though it's terribly built. They don't really establish the characters. They just rush everything. They just cram a bunch of characters in. They don't make time to set up for characters. But they're freaking making solo movies after the big crossover. That's not how you do it. Like, that's the opposite of how you make a successful franchise. And they could have stopped. And I saw a video about the idea of the rise and fall of the DCEU, about how the fact that when Justice League had to perform to the box office because it was terrible. It was because when that movie bombed and had the worst reviews ever, they couldn't stop making films because they were still making Aquaman. They were like in the process of filming Aquaman. Also at that point they were pre-production for Shazam, and I still didn't bother seeing them because at that point I was just like, no, I was just done with them. And because of that, I'm just done with DC movies because I just don't care anymore. Like, they don't know how to build a universe. They don't know how to set up characters. They don't know how to establish characters. They don't know how to build good costumes for the characters. It's all just a mess. They don't really know how to do a good job at telling stories, and they're just messy right now. They're a mess, and I don't like it. So some people still watch them, but I just don't care anymore. And with the Arrowverse, okay, the Arrowverse. Let's talk about the Arrowverse. So this is a franchise that I have watched to the end of the earth. I started watching it when I was on Netflix. I think the first 3 seasons of Arrow were on Netflix. And I was also watching Smallville. I had gotten each season from the library, watch a season, get the next season from the library, and that was how I did it. I really got to know, DC Comics characters for that reason. The comics, I don't really read comics. I don't really do that at all. It's just, I feel like it's a waste of time because I'm a very visual learner, and I like to see things a lot more visually. And comic books, unless it's like Star Wars, I really don't care. I'm not as big a fan as of superhero comic books because they're just like not as engrossing. I mean, they're fun, but like they're not as engrossing. And so that's why when Smallville did their thing, I was really engrossed in it. They had some really great adaptations. They did some really good for the characters. They obviously it was about Clark Kent becoming Superman, but mainly about Clark Kent, about the amazing Tom Welling. And that was my first introduction to DC on TV, and it was amazing because Smallville was one of the best superhero TV shows before the Arrowverse ever existed. And then Arrow hit off; it was amazing. Season 2, they were like, okay, we're gonna introduce a new character. We're gonna expand our universe. We're gonna build towards something amazing. So they introduced Barry Allen. Season 2, I think it was Scientist. They introduced the character of Barry Allen. They cast Grant Gustin in the role. He's an amazing actor, and he was just perfectly cast because obviously they wanted to make sure they cast really well, so they did a good job with that. And then that spawned The Flash, which has been very successful. Probably my favorite Arrowverse show of all time, for sure. Sure, the season 5 suit was shit. Season 6 suit has been. It's been really weird to understand how he puts the mask on and takes it off. Like, why? I don't understand. Like, I miss past seasons where he just put his mask out. Obviously with it there's like a jump cut, but like it's so much more interesting. And so that was really fun. They had some crossovers, which was really fun because that's the best way to really build a universe, and that was good because they were building towards them. They were really setting characters up. And then Legends of Tomorrow happened. They wanted to expand even further, and so they then had characters from both shows cross over and decided they weren't going to have a new show about time travelers. Having Sarah Lance, the Black Canary, being on that team, and they wanted to do that to build that show, and so they had about a third show on their line. They wanted to explore the idea of time travel because they already gotten the idea of metahumans. That was the concept, and then in 2015, CBS began airing a little show called Supergirl, and that was obviously about Superman's cousin, and no one knew if they were going to use Tom Welling version of Clark Kent. It really wouldn't have worked. So they at that point, season 2 of Flash, they had already introduced the idea of the multiverse, about how there could be other Earths with different versions of characters. It's a phenomenal storytelling device. Honestly, it's fantastic. Supergirl was having some issues with its ratings. People weren't really as much interested. Her look was different. She didn't really have any blonde hair. It was kind of dyed, like they kind of failed that part. And then they had some problems with that show. So when they got renewed for season 2, they then moved over to the CW so they could have crossovers more. And then they had Invasion, and that was really fun because it incorporated Supergirl into that franchise. And that's how the official Arrowverse came to be. It was, these different Earths, which is great, honestly. The fact that the Flash could travel between different Earths is fantastic. That was like a lot of coincidence, and it worked out pretty well. They had the crossovers, Invasion happened, and then they had other crossovers a year later, where Supergirl was still on her own Earth. And Cisco gave her a breach device that would enable her to go, over to Earth 1 to, participate in the crossover there. And ever since, it's been an expansive universe. Black Lightning was added recently for the crossover, which makes him part of the Arrowverse now. It's just like, it's so expansive now, and I feel like the reason why the Arrowverse is much more successful than the DCEU is because they have built each character up. They have individual shows that cross over and based off of individual heroes. And the DCEU, they're like, yeah, we're just going to do our own thing. We're going to not even bother. We're trying to build a universe. It really tuned me out, and I really got less interested in DC movies because they just don't interest me. Like, you got the freaking recasting Batman. It's like, seriously. Why? No, you don't do that. I mean, Harry Potter did the same thing. But that was like, you couldn't really tell. This time it's like, okay, we're gonna recast Batman. No one cares. He's gonna be part of the same universe. You can't do that. I can understand Mark Ruffalo replacing Edward Norton because that was the way it was. And people were theorizing the reason why he looked different was because he had some physical transformation in surgery that caused him to look different. But that was a theory, and obviously it's because they recast him. That's all it was. And so they just suck. They're supposed to get better, but I'm just like, I have completely lost interest because they don't know how to build a universe. They don't. The Arrowverse does. They have, ever since The Flash came out, they have been teasing Crisis about this big, massive event, and it worked perfectly. I mean, yeah, sure, the final battle wasn't as epic as it was supposed to be. I was expecting a little more, but that was because of financial problems. They couldn't do. They only had so much money for each show. They can only do so much. I mean, they have other shows too, but at the same time, the CW can only give the people who make the crossover so much money. Like, I don't know how much, but like not enough money they can do. They can give each actor more screen time and have each actor who plays different characters on in every episode. It just don't work like that. Unlike Crisis on Earth, where it worked out pretty well because they had more money, but this time they didn't have much money. I'm not sure how it works, but I definitely feel like the Arrowverse is a better adaptation of DC Comics because they built their universe from the start using Arrow to then go forward and spend more upon more characters, add more characters, introduce the idea of a multiverse with different Earths, introduce the idea of time travel, aliens, metahumans, everything like that. Just in general, an amazing way of creating an expansive DC Comics world where the DC movies just fail at because I don't know what they were thinking. Like, why did they just make one solo movie and then go right into a crossover and then have another solo movie and then go we're gonna do another crossover. We're just gonna go right into it. Like, they didn't have time to plan anything. They're just like, they want to rush into it like that. That's not how you do it. That's why with the CW's Arrowverse, they just follow the comics a lot more closely. They improve on their design. Like, one thing I really enjoy about each show, maybe not Supergirl, at least until season 5, but with each show, at least with Arrow and Flash, each season, each hero gets a new upgrade of their costumes. On Arrow, Oliver didn't get an upgrade until season 3, and that was because he made his own costume for a long time, and it wasn't until the Flash existed that Cisco was able to make him a suit. So that was how it worked. And so, each season you get a new suit. Supergirl and Black Lightning were an exception because they just didn't get a new suit until late because they didn't really need to. But I just feel like the Arrowverse does a lot better job. I know some people, don't follow all the shows, don't watch every single show. Some people don't find all the shows interesting. They only watch a couple of shows, which makes crossovers more challenging because these crossovers, they want you to watch all the shows. That's what the point of the crossover. They want you to watch all the shows so you understand the crossover because there are plot elements that are in each other's crossover episode that tie in to the crossover. That's why it's important. But I don't know why the DCEU still exists today. There are some people who actually still like the movies. I don't know why. Like, I stopped watching. I'm not saying people who watch the movies are stupid and they what they're doing is wrong. Like, they can't enjoy those movies. They are allowed to. It just means I'm not going to watch them. Some people can like DC on the big screen. I, for one, don't like them. I didn't bother watching Joker. I wasn't interested. I was done with the DC movies. You know, unless they're going to reboot the movies and start with a fresh slate and do, you know, what Marvel Studios did, where they build the universe slowly over the course of time and really build something and have seeds planted like what they did with the Arrowverse, then sure. But they have basically lost my interest right now, and that's why with Crisis on Infinite Earths, they really changed the game. They really had higher stakes. It really made a lot more interesting things happen. And I mean, yeah, sure, the Ed Middle cameo was cool, but like, that's it. Like, I really have no interest anymore in DC movies. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say about that subject. If you have a different opinion about that, which one you prefer, if you do prefer the DCU, I don't hate you. We just means we have a different opinion. Let me know in the comments if you only watch Arrowverse or only watch DCU. If you only watch DCU because you think the Arrowverse doesn't make good DC comic, you know, adaptations, that's okay. It's an opinion. But I would love to know what you think about each franchises, if you think the DCU does it better than the Arrowverse. I don't want to start a comments war, so no wrong answers. I just want to really know your honest opinion. If you only watch DC movies and you don't like the Arrowverse just because of it might be what you think about the effects, the acting, budget. I mean, some people, that's the only thing I can really hear about people complaining is that stuff. But to be honest, they did a really darn good job at adapting amazing stories for live action DC on television, which makes it so amazing. And I'm curious to know, if you do choose the DCU, why? What's made you make that choice, and why are you so interested in the movies? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just like, I'm generally curious, what is still grabbing your attention for the movies? You know, maybe it's the fact that you just like seeing DC on the big screen instead of the small screen. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about this topic. I just wanted to talk about it and really delve deep into the idea about this, and you know, really talk about it and really think about it a lot. Really think about which one's better, because I definitely feel like the Arrowverse does a lot better. But again, we all have an opinion. I haven't really gotten a chance to do a video about it, but like, I haven't really had time without doing all the from college, work, you know, other videos I'm doing. You know, I figured since the crossover's over, unfortunately there's still DC movies coming. Birds of Prey is coming soon. I'm not gonna see it because I don't care. But at the same time, all I can say to the people who still make DC movies, good for you. Good for you, and I wish you the best of luck, but I'm done with them. I'm no longer doing that. It's all about the Arrowverse now. That's the best thing. And I know people who think that, you know, Marvel does better with movies and DC does better with TV, although that's changing because Marvel is doing, you know, they're actually going to do share a universe with the TV now, so that's good. So yeah. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video, so I really hope you enjoy it. And again, please let me know in the comments what you prefer, Arrowverse or DC. I'll let you know. I get no wrong answers. But that's going to do it for this video. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. And if you are new to this channel, subscribe for more videos like this. Also, make sure to hit the bell to receive alerts so you don't miss any of my uploads. And